International Potato Tour continue, and right now we have podcast Potato 2.0, and I invite very interesting guest, President World Potato Congress, Peter van der Zaag. Good day, Peter.
Victor, thank you so much for inviting me to be part of this podcast. I really appreciate all that you do and traveling all over the world for potatoes, and that's great. And it's my honor to be part of your podcast for this event of the World Potato Congress. This is a huge event for us, and you represent many people, especially in North Asia and Russia, in Europe and around the world. So you have many contacts, so we appreciate it highly having this opportunity to share with you and for you to share with the world what we're about to do.
Yeah, thank you much for your words, Peter. But we speak not about myself. Yeah, it might
no, but thank you for doing this. Yes.
Yeah, we speak about World Potato Congress. I know in this year you host World Potato Congress in Africa, in East Africa, Kenya. Why Kenya?
Okay, so generally the Congress is being held in the Northern Hemisphere, Europe, North America, China, New Zealand, Australia last. And I have always worked in the developing world. I lived in Africa, I lived in Asia for many years. And I felt like the Congress should be doing more work to help the poorer countries of the world do better with potatoes. And that's been my main reason why I wanted to have it in Africa. And I chose Kenya because Kenya, I would say, is the most friendly, advanced country to work in for English-speaking people especially, but for everybody. It's easy to go there. And Kenya now has two main food crops, potato and corn. Potato is becoming very important, and they've done a great job with science and technology to make the crop better. East Africa, especially Kenya, represents a large part of East Africa, all the way from the north, from Eritrea, all the way down to South Africa and Mozambique. And so it's a large area represented. But the most important thing that I want to stress is this. Today, there are 300 million people in Africa who do not have enough to eat. 300 million. That's about 1/4 of the total population of Africa is still hungry. And I believe the potato can play a very important role in reducing or eliminating that food deficit in many countries through improved potato production. And in Kenya, for example, we have seen now through good technology, yields can be increased 3 or 4 times over what the national average is. And that's being done now in Kenya. And on the field trips, you'll see that kind of production being done with good science, good technology, good extension, good farmers who want to do better. So we're excited to have it in Kenya as a showcase of what's possible in Africa.
Yeah, look, if we speak about food security in Africa, I think so it's very important. I think so very important to understand if you want to good harvesting, you need good quality potato. And what's place Kenya have in Africa?
So Africa, Africa is formed by 2 tectonic plates, the African plate and the Indian Ocean plate that collided. And that collision caused high elevation, high altitude potato climate in all of East Africa, up to 3,500 meters above sea level. Very high, very high. At the equator, you can have snow. Can you imagine? So this is a climate that's tropical, yet somewhat temperate at the same time. So you see there's a mixture of what's happening. You go towards the Congo Basin, it gets hotter, of course. But even there, potatoes can play a role during off-season production. In all of West Africa, there's a dry season with irrigation, like in Nigeria, and Guinea. They grow potatoes also as a crop during the dry season. So there's many ways of this to be done efficiently to grow more potatoes in all parts of Africa.
Very important question about post-harvest losses remain. Yeah, I visit many country. Example, Pakistan, country who have 8 million ton harvesting potato, but he have problem for store harvesting potato. How World Potato Congress help farmer in Africa and in other country to with problem?
Okay, so at our Congress, we'll have two sessions. One is strictly on storage, and one is strictly on processing. What we see happening in Africa and all over the world, actually, more and more potatoes are being processed. And that's a good way for harvest gluts to be utilized. On the storage side, you see a country like Eritrea has now developed very simple storage techniques. These also exist in India. And for small-scale farmers, they've learned how to keep potatoes under cooler conditions during the ensuing hot season after the potato harvest for several months. Now, this does not work for the large farmers. They need to have the cold store. And in the case of India, we'll have a speaker from India who will speak about cold storage technology that's suitable for processing potatoes as well as for table potatoes. We'll have an expert from the United States talking about storing potatoes in temperate climates. And as I said, one from Eritrea will talk about how to do it in a tropical area. Your question is still not easily answered where they only have one season of potatoes, like South Asia. Bangladesh, the same thing. India, Pakistan, it's one season. So the harvest glut is always there. But processing, like you'll see in Gujarat province, state of India, the processing sector has now really become large. And they have done a great job with processing into chips, into other kinds of products. High fund food will be speaking. They're one of the best at doing this kind of thing to make sure that we utilize all the potatoes well. So that's the challenge. The other place to store potatoes is in people's stomachs and to encourage more people to eat, right? That's what we also want to see happen.
Peter, I have, I think so, very important question. People who look in this video, yeah, around the world, I think so. Why he need to will visit Kenya, World Potato Congress?
Okay, I'm glad you asked that question. In the Congress in Dublin in 2022, we made a declaration. We called the Declaration of Dublin, where we said we must form partnerships and collaboration between those who have and those who have not, between those who have not and who have not, who can also collaborate to learn together, that the partnerships is a way that we can help each other improve the constraints we face in growing potatoes. Now, the Declaration of Dublin is now being implemented also in Kenya. That's why we're having it in Kenya, actually, that many from the developed world will come to Kenya and share knowledge with those who seek it from developing countries. I call it the global north and the global south. It's not quite correct to say it that way either, but the point is the collaboration is happening. Now, at the Congress, we're having a series of 6 workshops before the Congress on different topics: aeroponics, on seed production through apical cuttings, on hybrid TPS, right, potatoes with true seed, on marketing, on sustainability, various topics that people in the world will come together through workshop-style discussions. How can we help each other to do better, and how we can help each other to solve the problems we face in doing whatever constraint we deal with, whether it's seed production or marketing or sustainability issues. So those workshops are a big part of the partnerships and collaboration that we're doing. So the whole day is spent on this topic, on these topics alone, in smaller groups of maybe 50 to 100 people in each group.
Yeah, I think so. I visit last World Potato Congress in Australia. It's for me, I said it's maybe potato Oscar, yeah, because you may contact with many people around a world, yeah, and general manager, and you may have good networking. Peter, I think so. I couldn't with what I said right now. I think so. We have small video, 3 minutes, with you, with your colleague, yeah, who want to speak with me in interview, and I published for all time, yeah, and we invite people in World Potato Congress. I translate video in Russian language for people too easy. I published in potato.news. Right now I published in a paper magazine, Potato System Russian magazine, and with magazine I take from many expo potato in Russia, in Kazakhstan, in Kyrgyzstan, and I inviting. Maybe finished. What's about International Potato Tour? What do you think about with International Potato Tour? Yeah.
Well, I think what you do, you are a potato man within your DNA. I know that because I can tell. And I think by what you do, by your travels, I mean, I watched even what you did in the very eastern part of Russia, in Siberia, was very interesting. For example, what they were doing there for farming of potatoes, and how this is, I think of Alaska across the way, what they're doing there. And then you see what you do in China and different countries. I think it's very interesting. The potato people have a common interest, and how do others do it? And what you're doing is really catalyzing or encouraging more and more people to collaborate. And that's what we want to do at the Congress as well. Collaboration, to share, to partner. And you've built many bridges between countries, between people, to make this so well respected and known. So you've done a great job with that. So thank you for also including us in this process.
Yeah, thanks so much, World Potato Congress. I think so. It's really interesting event in the year, and I invite all people who are looking this video because International Potato Tour continue, and my tour continue in Kenya. I think so. It's very beautiful country, and I want to take an interview for many people in this country. I know it's. People who love potato, I am. Thank you so much for your time, Peter.
Впервые в странах Африки к югу от Сахары пройдет конференция в Наиваше, Кения. Кения – стратегический сельскохозяйственный центр Восточной Африки. Картофель является основной культурой для обеспечения продовольственной безопасности и средств к существованию сельского населения. Более 800 тысяч картофельных плантаций расположены по всей стране. Быстро развиваются системы семеноводства и агротехнологии. Особое внимание уделяется устойчивости к изменению климата, повышению урожайности и развитию цепочки создания добавленной стоимости. Кения – гостеприимная страна, известная своим радушием и процветанием. От Великой Рифтовой долины до горы. Кения в Масаи-маре идеальная. Сочетание профессионального обмена, обучения и приключений. Присоединяйтесь к мировому сообществу любителей картофеля для инноваций, исследований и устойчивого сельского хозяйства в самом сердце Восточной Африки с 26 по 30 октября 2026 года. Отправляйтесь на Международный картофельный конгресс вместе с нами. Более подробная информация по телефону +7 967 71 20 202.
Ну, если ты уже досмотрел это видео, я попрошу сделать немножко для развития проекта. Первое. Нажми, понравилось тебе это видео или нет. Напиши комментарий. Мне очень важно понимать, что тебе понравилось в этом видео, а что не понравилось. Ну и, конечно, поделись этим видео со своими друзьями и коллегами, кто работает в картофелеводстве. Вместе мы сделаем нашу отрасль интереснее и сильнее. Ваш Виктор Ковалев.